Education, Thursday, August 21st, 2025 board meeting. If we can have roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Boynton,
Here.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Present.
Mr. Akins, Ms. Macklin,
Half here.
and Ms. Carter.
Here, present. Thank you. We can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance. Thank you, everyone. 2.01, acknowledgement of goals. Oh, we're going to go ahead and have our statement. Go ahead.
Visitors are always welcome to our board meetings. If you wish to address the board during the audience participation portion of this meeting, please complete the form and submit it to the treasurer. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes. A maximum of 30 minutes will be permitted for public participation at each meeting. A person may speak twice until all who wish to speak here have the opportunity to do so. And please silence all the electronic devices. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we are on to 3.01, approval of our August 7th, 2025 minutes. If I can have a motion, please.
Motion to approve. Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Macklin and seconded by Mrs. Boynton that we accept the minutes from August 7th, 2025 work session. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Macklin,
Here. Yes.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you, board. Okay. I want to see if we can, if everyone is in agreement that 4.01, we move that one further down if needed. I believe Mrs. Turner Birch is checking in to see if Mrs. Dolores Gray will be still coming. So is everyone in agreement that we move that one further down the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're going to move on to 5.01 to have the audience address the board, and it looks like we don't have anyone here. So we're going to go ahead and move on. All right, 6.01 consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as it is presented. Second.
It has been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and seconded by Mrs. Macklin that we approve the consent agenda as presented. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do want to say happy retirement to Miss Paz, who's on,
Yes.
on the agenda. She was my art teacher when I was here, so
Yes.
that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yes, very excited about that. And then, seeing some alumni come and work for the district again. I see that further down, so I'm really excited about that. Just seeing how, we're moving within our district and getting people hired in. So I'm excited about that. Go ahead and do roll call.
Okay. Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, passes 4-0, or, 4-0, sorry. Numbers was off. We're gonna come back to, I know she had to step out, so I do apologize. We are going to come back to our superintendent's report. We're gonna go to our treasurer's report, so 8.01.
Okay. Thank you, Board President, Madam Vice President, board members. Tonight, for my report, I attended a meeting yesterday, and a couple of changes that I learned of, or actually not learned of, but we discussed. The 5-year forecast, typically in the past, this was done end of November, had to be turned in, and then the true-up would be in May, end of May. moving forward for this year alone, the first fall report is due October 15th. So I will be presenting that, I believe, at the October 2nd meeting to make the deadline for that. And then the true-up will be end of February. And then moving forward, it will be every August by the end of the month and every February by the end of the month. They have also made it to where this year it'll be current year and 3 years out. And then for next year, there has been talk where it's just going to be a 3-year forecast.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes. So there was a change that we did here coming, and we discussed it yesterday. There's also been changes to the USAS manual. The USAS manual is United School, I forget what the AS means. It's our accounting reporting manual. The lines or the codes that we use to report everything, there's been changes to that. It has been updated since 2012, so it was coming, so we kind of knew that. Dante has done a very good job of kind of changing the codes as we see fit or needed. So we are staying with the USAS manual and, keeping our accounts current and doing it right for the auditors. And then I did want to mention our bond anticipated notes. The payment for the borrowing of that is due September 4th. So as you remember, we had to take out those to get the project started. And then when we issued the bonds, we got a extra 90 days on those to earn interest. So when we do pay it back on September 4th, we'll probably have earned close to north of $1 million in interest in those 90 days that we extended those out. So good for TAD, good for the project. I know we're going to need it with inflation costs coming and everything else. That is my report out. And then for 8.02, we just have one ask. It's the approval of fund-to-fund transfers. We had unpaid lunch balances from seniors last year. Even though we are free lunch now, these were existing balances that we had carried forward throughout the years and we're not able to recoup. So the general fund has to account for those balances to pay back the nutrition fund because those are federal funds.
Thank you. On your treasurer's report,
Yes.
can you explain a little bit more of how doing a shorter forecast is going to affect the district? So,
I will probably still always prepare a 5-year forecast. I will just submit a 3-year because I do believe 5-year is best practice, whether the state believes that or not. I feel that is the way that we should look at our finances and kind of foresee anything that could happen. If we ever, 3 years is very hard if you see a drastic need for new money or anything to kind of get the ball rolling. So a 5-year I will continue to, not report out to the state, but prepare for the board to look at, and then I'll cut it off at years 3 and then be compliant with the state moving forward. Yeah. But I can tell you that they are rolling it back to 2 years as far as if you need a written plan instead of looking at 3, which is also a very short period to make any impactful changes to improve your forecast. So I will continue to do a 5-year.
perfect. All righty. So going with 8.01, with it just being, I don't see where we had, do we need to do a motion to approve?
Just 8.02.
Just 8.02. All right, so were there any other questions on 8.01, the treasurer's report? No? All righty. 8.02, can I have a motion to approve funds to funds transfer?
Motion to approve.
All right, I'm gonna do, who wants to second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and second by Mrs. Macklin that we approve the fund to funds transfer. Any questions regarding that? Hearing none, roll call please.
Yes. Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, motion passes 4-0. Thank you, board. All right, we are back up to superintendent's report. If we could have, gonna hand it over to Dr. Johnson.
Good evening, Board President, Vice President, Board members. Thank you for your patience. I will be honest, that was Kellen from Colorado, so that was the first time I heard it. So I'm like, I can't miss this phone call. Under the superintendent's report, we have 6 items that we're recommending. Under 7.01, we're recommending one of the handbooks for the middle school and high school. Mr. Thompson came in the spring to communicate. I think he did a little presentation. So there's some track changes there. There's not much to my understanding, but if you click on that, the track changes show what's in there. Under 7.02, we ask of your MOU. This is for CTE, the culinary program. I do want to just communicate because clearly someone has tried to communicate some misinformation in terms of our culinary program, but our culinary program is going to be at Tri-C, but we are always trying to look for options within one of our 4 municipalities and be fiscally responsible. But we will still be at Tri-C until the new facility is done, and we are 99% sure that the new culinary program will be inside of the high school, so I'm not sure why that is being communicated otherwise. Under 7.03, we ask of your approval of the MOU here with the licensed tutors. Again, I think we're fiscal agents in this situation, so these are not our students, but money flows through us to this program, as you know, how private school funding works. Under 7.04, we have Tad here if you have some questions about the abatement and demolition of the high school. We are on target. So again, we did send a memo out and post that we did have to move. I am very appreciative of the work that the board has done to ensure that we are actually saving $2.5 million by moving to the new facility rather than building a $5 million new building. And we needed to get out of this building in order to tear it down so we can be on target to start demolition after the winter break. So we are asking your approval here for the amendment to GPD's abatement contract. Under 7.05, we ask of your approval of the Spectrum contract. We are in transition, so we don't have internet here, so we're not increasing our cost. We need internet there, just as if you move from any new facility, you gotta turn something off, get something hooked up there. So we are in kind of a transition phase, and the hotspots we had already purchased. So we took those from out of the other districts. The teachers and staff, students will tell you, our internet does go down. So Antoine has done an amazing job of purchasing hotspots over the past year, and prior to that, Paul, that when we need them, we send them out to the building. So right now, we do have a couple of those throughout of the new building over at Central Office at no extra cost. And under 7.06, we ask of your approval of our Huddle contract. This is the software where students utilize it for scholars for their highlight film and things of that nature.
Thank you so much. All right, so 7.01, student handbook. Can I have a motion to approve the handbook as presented?
I have a question. Well, go with the motion first.
Motion to approve.
Second. It's been motioned by Mrs. Macklin and seconded by Mrs. Boynton that we approve the handbook as presented. Questions?
I wasn't able to comb through the entire handbook like I had liked. But from what I did see, that it has been redone. Has a lot of different changes, or it's just been updated with other things. I know there's highlights within it. So what are the highlights? Is that additions, or why are only specific things highlighted? And then it seems like things are kind of like switched around. So I'm just trying to get clarity. Is that was there things added, new things added as well?
We can ask him to come back and specifically speak to what is highlighted here, but there is a committee. Nothing really, for example, on page 10, it says training is provided on an ad needs basis. So that's something that's highlighted there. We don't have to have yearly training, because if we don't have new staff, things of that nature. Then you go down to the next page 11, video surveillance upon written request of the Board of Education, upon written request of the Board of Education. So just making sure that it's just not us, you know what I mean, any random person there. But if you want it to be true track, you know what I mean, then the cross out, you want the true track changes, so you can kind of see what it was. And then in addition, then we can put it on the next one,
Okay.
if you want us to do
Can
that.
we do that?
Yeah, I don't
Can
think
we
there's an
take this
issue.
off and put it on the next one?
So you don't want to, so you wanna take this, so you wanna remove this so you can see all the specifics?
Correct.
Yeah, like under page 13, they corrected the start and end times at the middle school and high school.
I did see those.
Yeah. And the tardy bells and things of that nature. But yeah, I don't think that's an issue. If, you know, all the board members are okay with that, I mean, we can ask Chris to come back, and then he can also provide you with but it's up to you guys.
We can vote no on this one and then present it on the next one if needed.
Is there no timeline for the kids to receive the handbook?
Well, it's out there, to be honest. The old one is out there.
So the new one hasn't been presented to them?
I don't think so,
Yeah.
because there's question marks in here.
No, that's
Gotcha.
not what I
Okay.
was asking.
Yeah.
I'm-
You want to know
Well,
when they
you-
need it. Well, school
Yeah.
started, so.
It's- I know, they're supposed
So-
to have it.
I mean, it's a week or 2 weeks.
That's what I'm
So,
saying, is there a
yeah.
time?
Well, it's questions. For example, he highlighted, are we doing printed copies? Because the old language used to say everybody's gonna get a copy.
So
So
we
he
wanna-
wanted to change that. Or like I stated earlier, we changed some of the start and end times over the past couple of years
Makes
to better align things, and you'll see that in the next board meeting with the baby buildings, because they all 4 have the same start time, so we needed to change that. So there's those type of minor changes in there. I think they clarified or made things in alignment to what's actually happening in terms of mediation and that kind of stuff, the restorative discipline practices. So if you still need more time to look at this, it's up to you guys.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and do roll call.
Ms. Macklin?
But if we, I have a question, if we vote it down, when, I'm like Ms. Boynton, when do these need to be in the hands of the students for the parents?
Yesterday,
is it a time
but,
limit?
yeah, they should have been there before school started, but they basically things are in alignment to what they're already doing. For example, the social and emotional learning services, like, we didn't really have things like that in there and clarified. Now they don't, just maybe list counselors, it lists mental health specialists, social workers, and things of that nature. So a lot of what's in here is happening. It's not as if they're waiting to do a lot of these things. It's just making sure that what's in the handbook is in alignment to what's actually happening.
So how long will it take for them to get it then now?
Well, it'll just be posted. So as soon as you guys approve it, like if you pull it and put it on the next board meeting, it'll just be posted on the websites.
Nobody actually gets the handbook.
Yeah, that we don't
It's
pass
all
them out
online.
But I
anymore,
mean,
do
when
they?
will
They
it
don't get
be
physical.
available for them?
Well, I know they don't physically get
It'll be online.
It'll be
get it
the
on
day
that, but it's
after.
still information in the handbook
Yeah.
that should be, and I can talk about that later with you, but I just wanna make sure that it's
Because that's
there,
what they're doing.
because.
They're using the old one right now. Old information is out there right now.
But I do have, going on to seeing both sides, I do see though, like she was saying, there's question marks in here, so if we approve this one, it's almost like we're putting those question marks in there.
Correct.
Well,
No, the
no,
question
no,
marks
I
were
know.
for you.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like,
gotcha.
we would have to ask that question, like, right now, we still would have to answer that. I'm just saying, like, if we do this, we haven't yet approved, okay, are we doing it? So like, we kinda need to make sure we know what we're answering in here. So like those
Yes.
question marks, I get it, is available on our district website as well as individual. We've not done printed copies, so I would say no to that, but I get what is being asked, but I also know that this needs to get out there ASAP, seeing that school started
And let me
today.
just mention that this has been available to the board, not just tonight.
No, I know.
I wanna make sure of that, because you're
Oh,
saying,
exactly.
you're saying you just wanna know that, well, we had way more
We have.
than this 1 hour, half hour that we started
Of course.
to have questions regarding it.
Of course.
No, I get it.
Okay.
So, all right, so go ahead and if we can have a roll call?
Yes. Ms. Macklin?
No.
Ms. Boynton?
Yes, we can do it.
Ms. Turner Birch?
No.
Ms. Carter?
No.
So we'll, and what we can do is also, would you want paper copies also?
I don't need a paper copy.
Okay, all right. Or
So-
share it, do you want to share it in a Google Doc also?
That'll work.
Okay,
Yes,
so
you
you can
can
see
work.
comments and make
Yes.
comments?
If you
Yes.
can do that as soon as possible, and then that way,
Okay.
this
And
is
then
done
the
as soon
next-
as possible.
Yep.
So now I move to, move this from the agenda to our next agenda on, September 2nd, I think? Third,
Fourth,
fourth,
is it?
that first week.
September
One of
4th.
those
September
days?
Fourth,
yeah.
On the
yes.
4th.
I second.
And I'll just ask, Dr. Schneider, can you ask Mr. Thompson to share that in a Google Doc with the board? Thank you.
ASAP. Hopefully, he already has something, so it could be done as quickly as possible. I'm sure that can be. Thank you. Roll call when you're ready.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry.
I did, I seconded.
Can we have another member?
Oh, that's right, I can't. So somebody else seconded if.
Second.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Boynton?
No.
And Ms. Carter?
Yes, passes 3-1. Thank you, board. 7.02 is MOU with Tri-C for the CTE culinary pathway. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned by Mrs. Turner Birch and second by Mrs. Macklin that we approve the MOU for Tri-C. Is there any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you, board. 7.03 is the service contract to enter into an MOU with Canton Public Schools to provide properly licensed tutors at Heritage Christian School for the 25-26 school year. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and second by Mrs. Macklin that we approve the MOU as presented. Are there any questions for this?
I do. So this school, is it located in Canton? And we have students who are attending Heritage?
You want to answer
Just
that?
explain that, yeah. That was gonna be my question. Could you clarify a little bit more? I know you did it the last time too.
No, it's okay. Very similar to some of our other private parochial schools. We have students who attend there, therefore they get a percentage of our federal funds. Once we do our consultation, they let us know how they want to utilize. They wanted to utilize tutors in Kansas City, so that's why we're going to this MOU.
Can you talk? I'm sorry.
Actually,
It's not on yet.
There we go.
You gotta start over.
I usually like the mic. Jeez. I'm sorry. So what I was saying is, like our other private parochial schools that have our students there, we are the fiscal agent that their federal funds go through. Therefore, once we do our consultation with those building leaders, they let us know how they want to use their funds. They wanted to get tutors through Canton City. Therefore, that's why the MOU happened.
So our students attend Heritage, and they're choosing to have their tutors come from Canton.
From
Public.
Kansas, yeah.
Yep.
And so therefore, we're the pass-through to, okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to make sure it's,
No, thank you for that question, because that's a good question.
yeah.
It is.
It's the most
Somebody know.
ridiculous thing. I'm just gonna say it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
All right,
Oh, I can say it.
roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you, board. All right, we are on to 7.04, the approval of authorizing an amendment to GPD for the abatement and demolition of the high school. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned by Mrs. Turner Birch and second by Mrs. Boynton that we approve the amendment contract as presented. Are there any questions regarding this? Looks like you get out of it. Roll call, please.
First
First time, well, actually, no, you know what, I actually do want to, before we move on, I know we're doing the change of the abatement, but can you please just specify, and I know we put a statement out there, why we're doing what we're doing with the Board of Education building, why it's going down and everything like that.
Turn your mic on, please. They can hear it, so they can hear it.
We just want to make sure that the
Certainly,
information
and this is related. This amendment to the GPD contract is because the abatement and demolition of the high school, which is it's a partial demolition of the north house. It's necessary in order to make room for the high school. That also includes that package when it comes before you for approval will also include the demolition of this building. That has been in the plan probably since January of 2023, roughly. It was part of the master facilities plan that was presented to the voters that we would tear down this building and build a new Board of Education building. Originally, we were going to build it as part of the K2, then that changed to the middle school, and that was what was presented to the voters which they voted on in November of 23. Over the course of our design work, as I've mentioned at multiple other meetings, we have stopped at every step of the design process to do a cost estimate. Roughly 6-7 months ago, actually roughly January of this year,
February 12th, actually.
we got our design development, we check, which is when we stop and we check where the prices are based on our design. And we found out that the cost of construction had gone up significantly more than anticipated. And so we were forced to make design decisions about the middle school and the K2 building in order to make sure we were still on budget. And so one of the low-hanging fruit of that, probably the lowest hanging fruit, was the Board of Education office. The new board building was going to be roughly 9,500 square feet and would have cost almost $5 million. So that was, we made the decision to cut that. But of course, that did not mean that this building didn't need to come down. It still needs to come down. So we had to find a home. So we spent the next 6 months searching for a property that we could occupy. We wanted to stay in Bedford, which is something we not only promised to the voters, but promised to City Council and the administration at the City of Bedford. And so we found this property. It's move-in ready. No, we don't have our internet over there yet, but we have Verizon, our hotspots, and we're working on that. It takes Spectrum some time to move things. Basically, this building is over 18,000 square feet, and it's half the cost. So we get twice the building for half the cost. We feel that it is fiscally responsible. That building is far better than this building. It was built in 2008. It has solar panels, so our electricity costs are very, very minimal. And like I said, it was move-in ready. We looked at numerous properties over the course of 6 months, and all of them, except this building, would have required significant build-out costs, in addition to either a lease or a purchase cost. The other advantage of the way we handled the purchase of this building was we did use bond funds. Bond funds can only be used for the acquisition of property or the construction of property or the demolition of property. They cannot be used, for wages and fringe benefits, and so again, this was the most fiscally responsible course that we could take in order to continue functioning as the administration of the school district, and also ensure that we have the most money available for our school buildings versus, spending $5 million on an administration building. It was a very easy decision to cut that out of the budget. And, again, I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. This building has to come down to make room for the high school. This site, the way it's situated, the only place to build a high school is where we are. We have nowhere to move the hundreds of students at the high school in order to tear it down and then build. And if we waited a year, the new high school is going to be $70 million, 5% inflation on that. I mean, that's $3.5 million. Again, we spend less money buying a new board office than we would just by waiting. And even by waiting, we still would have had to find a new place to live. It is again, it's a very long-winded explanation. But this was not a, last-minute decision. This was a well-researched and thought-out process, and was, well within what was presented to the voters. We're very clear about the need to take down this building and recreate the board office, and we feel that we're doing it in the most fiscally responsible way.
One of the things, as well, one, I really appreciate the work that you're doing, Tad. I mean, it's been really, really easy to do, everybody else to do what they need to do because you're doing what you need to do. And also with Dr. Schneider, the move, I mean, he came right away to get everybody moved, which I know he probably disagrees. We're like, oh, that was seamless. So he knows a lot more about what actually happened than what we felt. In addition to that, in order for the high school to be able to move to the south side, we have administration offices on the south side. So registration, technology, all that has to go to make room for our staff and students. So people might, and I'm only stating this because this is a larger building, even though it's less than building the new building, but it will house all of the administrative offices so that they're not everywhere. In addition to the fact, I want to remind people, we have had issues with our maintenance building. So we also have a second garage where we'll be able to store items for our maintenance building. So we're really trying to be aware of everything that's happening in the district, as well as Tad stated, fiscally responsible, which I appreciate all the work that he's done. GPD and Panzeca have, I can't even say how great they've been to work with, because we in the last minute are like, well, what about this and what about that? And we appreciate your feedback and the voters' feedback, because sometimes we do have to go to them and say, absolutely not, because our community members don't want that. And they understand that it's not their building or buildings, it is for our community and our students and our staff, and so they've been very flexible. And we've had to say, absolutely not, or we need you to make this work, so I appreciate that.
No, and just to piggyback a little bit off of that, again, thank you, Ted, for all the hard work. This is not an easy task. I mean, 3 new buildings, along with everything else going on. So it's a group effort, and I appreciate everybody that's doing it. Some of the misinformation that's out there is this was never communicated to us. And our meeting on February 12th, we actually had GPD here to provide us financial information on how much it was going to cost and where they provided us options on where to cut. And this was the building that they said, hey, don't do the new Board of Education building. We had intense conversation up here on other options. And we stated at that time that we would try to find a building within the community. And so, again, we're still doing what our community members have asked. We have those non-negotiables. And so I just want our community members to understand, we're talking about it here at our board meetings. GPD has talked about there would be a new building from the time we started all of the conversations to February, where we said, no, take the board building off, and it's still being talked about every time GPD comes in. So I want our community members and everybody within the districts and the school buildings to understand this is nothing of a surprise, this is nothing new. This is something that we're making sure we're communicating, because we know that our community members are a part of this. And so, no, we can't reach every single person in every single household all the time, but we're doing our best by going about this in multiple different ways of communication. And so I'm hoping that any questions that we have from community members or stakeholders will come to one of us or call our board office and talk to them to get that information, because we want our members to know the accurate information and not miscommunication, and to keep passing that information around when that's not only hurting them because they're putting misinformation, but you're hurting our babies by putting that information out there. So in order to protect our babies, we will still continue to sit here and put this information out there.
Now, you still have your community meetings.
We have our
Right,
community
and that's one
engagements.
next Saturday.
Yes, and so we'll make sure that that's stated, but GPD has been at community meetings, community engagement meetings, specifying this information. So, not only do we ask you to come to our board meetings in person, we also ask you to watch online, which is why we provide it this way. So please, 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 instead of putting misinformation out there, go back and watch the board meetings. Go back and look at the board meeting minutes and things like that, because this information is put out there. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
I want to say something, and what I want to say is that I personally had, as an educator, in a just recent move into a bit while the construction of new buildings of an old school, and I was teaching during that time, and we saw that teachers could experience the need for a new building. And I have to say this because this was such a shock to actually had to teach in that type of environment. My door, the ceiling, the walls were caving in. They came and put and this is okay because he tells the story too, put actually a pole there to hold it up so we could just get in the classroom. It's such I want to just get to this point. It's such a struggle for everyone when you're trying to build and still continue without any kind of break in the education of our children. And so it was a struggle for me because every morning, that's what I had to look at when I came in. So the pole wasn't painted or anything. It was garbage. And I'm just going to say that because I was very upset about it because it was my room. And so I said, you know what? When you dealt lemons, you make lemonade. So we started posting our work on the pole. So that was even better now because we got to see what we did, and what the kids were proud that everybody saw their work because we had an extra place to put it. The struggle was still there because I said, we're here, they're building this new school. It seemed like it was taking forever. It was hot, no air. We had no air either. And you couldn't open the windows because the bees loved us, and they were in there constantly. I'm going to tell you, I went through this, so I understand the struggle internally of the educator and the children, you know, what we had to go through. And I know that we're experiencing that here in Bedford. And so when I came in with the attitude of, oh, I am so tired of this, I had to reflect on why I was there. And I was there to educate our children. So I had to keep saying that every day I came in and I saw our new decoration on of the entryway, to say, I am here. I have taken an oath, a pledge to do a job. And so I came in to do that job. But where the building I was in, I couldn't see every day the construction of the new building because it wasn't even on that street. I was down away from the building. So 2 times a week, and I want to tell the story. I'm sorry, I want to take up too much time, but I had to pass to see the new buildings going up because I had to go to the cemetery because I had family members in the cemetery, and that's how I was dealing with some grief. And I would go to the cemetery, and I would also go to the post office on that route. So when I would go twice a week doing that, I got a chance to see the building. And it made me feel better, like I know this is only for a short time because I saw my school growing up. I even got to the point where like you get excited, I was excited about the dirt. I was even more excited about the walls itself going up, because then I started thinking, where will my room be? I would go to the cemetery and I would look over and I saw the building. I said, I wonder where I'm going to be. The building is there. I move in and you wouldn't believe that my window overlooks the cemetery. But my point is this, it's really, I can actually see the cemetery. And I remember when it wasn't there, I mean, because it's 2 floors. Third grade. I know, but you know what? I can look out my window and I can actually see that. My point is, the struggle is real. And it's real for everyone. And I know there's a lot of chatter. I'm very biblical, and I stuck to Hebrew 12, and it says you got to keep your eye on that prize, and you got to keep focusing on where you're going. You can't look to the side. That's chatter. There's noise over here. So those days when I was really struggling, it was, because it was a while. It seemed like it took forever for that building to get up. I was hot all the time. I was hot. It was hot. And I had to keep my focus on what was coming next. And we made it. So my plea is to, especially the people that are really our educators, our maintenance crew, our staff, period, and most of all, our children. Remember, we're doing it for our children. We do what's best for our children. And it may take a while, but keep your eye on where we're going, and it will make your day better. And when you get there, you're going to be happy like I was really, really happy, because people really don't know unless you're in the, as they say, in the trenches. But just to see, I love it when I go by here. You know, my house isn't by here, but I come up here just to look and see what they're doing. It's like, they don't have a wall up yet. You know, one of those impatient people when it comes to that. But I know what it's going to be like when we get there. So I'm just asking for patience. As they say, give us a little grace and don't call us morons.
Look, I get excited. I see trucks over there moving around. You got the hard
Thank you, I'm
hats.
sorry.
No, you're
Just
good.
needed to say that.
You know, you said you're excited about the dirt. I was excited when the dirt started moving, and now you're saying stuff is going in. I'm just as excited. So, anybody else? I think we said enough. Thank you. Roll call.
Yes. Ms. Turbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you, board. Sorry, I'm just really passionate about making sure our babies are safe and taken care of, so. We are on to 7.05. We, service contract with Spectrum for month-to-month business internet at our new board office. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Turner Birch, second by Mrs. Macklin, that we approve the service contract with Spectrum. Any questions?
Clarify, you said this was just a carryover, like taking it from here and putting it over there?
We shouldn't
Outside
be,
of the
or,
house.
when are we cut off here? We shouldn't, I think pretty soon. I think we're here now, but we need to make the decision. I mean, you need to make the decision as to when you're not gonna,
Yeah.
have the meetings here, so that we're not, but we already have the hot spots and. Okay.
I just thought I saw it said
Yeah.
something about September.
So, yeah, so it's month to month until, you said it till September?
Well, it's month to month until we decide we're not coming here. That's why I said month to month.
Right.
Until we decide that we're gonna, so we can talk about that in the new business. But no, great question. Thank you.
Yeah, but I did say, no, we did not have to buy any hot spots or anything. Those are already what we had in the district.
Any additional questions? Roll call, please.
Yes. Ms. Turner Birch,
Yes.
Ms. Macklin,
Yes.
Ms. Boynton,
Yes.
Ms. Carter.
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you, board. 7.06, huddle contract for the Bedford High School athletes for the purpose of online service for both recording games and live streaming. Can I have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Been motioned by Mrs. Turner Birch, second by Mrs. Boynton, that we approve the new contract, or renew our contract with Huddle as presented. Any questions?
Idea, why does it say it's effective with September 19th? We have games currently, so is that when the old contract finishes and it's just picking up the new one?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing it's a renewal, that's what I think
When
it
it
is.
started.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's when we were starting school later.
Pardon, say who?
It's when we were starting school later.
Right.
She's speaking starting school later into
She's
existence.
putting it in existence
right.
after Labor Day.
After Labor Day. Cleveland Heights used to do it all the time.
We used to too, way back in the day, but yeah. All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes, passes 4-0. Thank you so much.
It's hot.
Yeah.
And you don't get that, go to school, then get off, and then you start routines all over again.
Right. So we're on, section 9, new business, old business. I just want to say, thank you for a great convocation for all of the employees in the district. Definitely enjoy, I didn't get a chance to attend on Monday, but I heard it was great. I did attend on Tuesday, and then I did hear from, a couple of new employees that it was very organized. They were very happy with how everything went. So I'm happy to hear that, her convocation is always great, so I'm glad that went off with a bang. Happy to see everybody was in one place and smiling, even though it was a little toasty in there at one point. It's okay. But, to see the teachers getting their awards, staff members getting awards, that was really, really rewarding. And just to see the greatness that we have in our district, I'm really excited about that and can't wait to see what our future holds. So thank you. Anybody else with new business, old business?
I was gonna bring up convocation as well, just to share a highlight, that the district does have posted those individuals who did win awards. I think it was great, even with our teacher of the year that we're highlighting, cause I'm seeing all the districts highlighting their specific teachers of the year. And I believe we had a great pick this year with Bakara Robinson, and Ms.
Yes.
Robinson is great in all she does, so, I'm excited for every one of those, as well as our rookies of the year. It's always nice to just see each other, kind of celebrate and applaud one another for the work that they do, because it's important work, and so I just really like seeing that, so.
Yeah, just to see everybody come, even though, I know you mentioned, there's always gonna be those hit butts, but to see everybody come together and enjoy each other's time together and be able to get along and, congratulate each other, I love to see that, so, that camaraderie.
Do we already have a date for next year, Tracy?
You know what, Dr. Three was out today, but I do know that she reached out, to try to get that under lock.
What was the question? I didn't hear.
Tracy, Tracy.
Tracy.
I will share that we had mixed feedback. People had concerns with the temperature, and I'm told that those are some things we possibly might be able to work on. But I heard also people like the close-knit, style, so, I don't know even if there's other options of other places, you know what I mean, that are close, but I heard mixed feelings. I heard some people like the largeness, it was tight, we didn't really have a place to have a nicer breakfast for people, I did like that part. We also, I think, got the feedback that in the past, the teachers were able to use the classrooms there, and get air conditioning in August.
Right.
So that was nice too, but we did reach out and try to clutch some dates so that we can, because I think that was a little difficult too. Talking to Dr. Herner, we gotta put in time for travel time, whereas they're right there, and so it was mixed, but we are looking at both options, but we, it might be nice also to send something out to get some feedback from
Yes.
staff. I would like, to get feedback from staff about their thoughts and opinions about how it went. Also, a speaker, we kind of been picking on this, we had a good feedback about this one. So, but we want some feedback, cause I know a lot of our staff are going out and they've gone to conferences or they're following people on TikTok, and so we got this recommendation. So I do appreciate the staff on getting this recommendation, and people seem to like it, and I will tell you, she raved about our staff in our district and how welcoming and how friendly everybody was, and I said, well,
That's that Mississippi
we got an
love.
opening.
That's that Mississippi love, honey. It's from the heart.
Yeah, she
Being
was
from
sweet.
Mississippi.
She was very sweet.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. and I'm getting nods out here that she's great, so I'm glad to hear that. Good.
Yeah, she was good.
Good.
I have something. Could I say that I attended 2 open houses last night, and that was the first time I actually had a chance to really go to 2 and actually spend some time seeing the children, because usually I'm in school probably doing mine. But it was so nice, and the teachers and the staff was so welcoming to the children. You know, kids, I bet you hadn't seen you before. You know, they were there last year, and they come back, they're so happy and so excited, and the teachers are just as excited to see them. So that was really, really good. Especially, you know, I went to Central, and oh my gosh, they're just so excited. They were just, and families were
They were
excited.
asleep today, just by the way.
They were. Oh, I'm sure. And the teachers were there. It was like a teacher, everybody, you could turn around, there was someone, you know, there, the assistant parents, and there was screening going on. Everything was just happening. It was a lot, and it was warm. It was warm, but nobody paid attention to that. They were fanning and still talking, never stopped talking. The presentation, it was really, really, really good. And I also went over to Columbus to see the bigger bodies, and the same thing. It was a lot of, you know, but it was really good. So anyway, I was just excited, you know, just to see the
Be on the
children,
other
to see
side.
the teacher, to be on the other side. Right. And you actually have a conversation with the teacher too, and, you know, just a simple question, how was your, you saw your scores, you heard how was things, and a reflection on, you know, and I know what I'm gonna do next year. Oh, that was just so nice to hear, and then to share my experiences as well. So it was really good to hear. And very welcoming to me. People didn't know who I was, which was good, so we could just talk. I was glad folks know who I was. It's like, let's just talk.
No, I was gonna say it was a great opening. I appreciate all the patience and support. We, you know, like you said, we have some buildings with some issues, and Adam has been great, and the maintenance team, and it's just been good. But it was our teachers. Just the smiles today, you know, out in the buildings. We're hearing just the positive feedback, and you know, from the kids and the parents. The kids are smiling. I know. I mean, it's not always. I'm not saying it's perfect, you know, but it was the energy, you know, was there.
Yes,
And
very
it was
positive.
exciting. So I appreciate that from our teachers and our support staff. It was a good day.
I would say from convocation, and I was also at Heskett yesterday. It seems like a new vibe in the district. I just feel a new energy. I don't know if it's restorative or if it's just we see on the horizon. We're seeing the things, right? The things that we've always talked about. We're seeing them actually move into fruition. Not completely there, but the vision is no longer on paper. We're able to see the things there, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I just felt like it just feels like a new energy. Even with a lot of changes, I know there are a lot of changes. Some of them are like, but you know, I want everybody to have a great, fantastic year. I witnessed a lot of the changes that were at Heskett, but I feel like there are going to be some good changes. You know, even the energy at Heskett felt different. And if you've been in that building in the last couple years, it's literally as soon as you walk in, it's like, but it felt good. So I'm excited for Heskett. I think we're seeing a turn in that building, and we will see a turn. So I have confidence in Dominic Grudadaria and his team, and the culture. It just seems like a brand new culture shift. I will say, when you say hiccups, I saw the pickup today because I was dropping a child off for tryouts, and so I got mixed up in the dismissal. It was a lot. But Bedford Heights, thank you, Bedford Heights Police, because Officer Barnes was out there, and then another gentleman came and kind of was directing traffic because it was backed all the way onto Columbus, and like you couldn't bust, the RTA was stopped. So I'm hoping it might be better tomorrow, But I know today was the first day with sixth graders to try to get the kinks out, right? So,
2 weeks.
well,
You said two.
Let me just tell you,
well, I'm just saying, it's
I'm
gonna
gonna
take
tell
a
you
little
from some
bit, but-
experience.
It does, it takes 2
We
weeks.
couldn't even get in our parking lot to park to come to work when all of this was going on for me. It took 2 weeks. So, you know what, just be patient. Now it's all smooth.
I thought of a suggestion so that maybe the confusion and congestion won't be so much on the public streets, except for like leaving out. Maybe we can talk to Fellowship Church, and maybe individuals can be directed that way. So if you have to be stopped on the street, trying to turn into Heskett, you could just follow the line pretty much into it. So, just a thought, I don't know
sure
what
Pastor Jones,
conversations
yeah.
could take place on that, but logistically, that just seemed like something to get a lot of that traffic off of, Columbus Road.
Well, with Fellowship now, there's only one way in, because they're doing construction.
Oh, all right.
Oh, that's
go in
right. You can't come in off Columbus, you have to come in off Perkins. But that was such a
Yeah, I
good
didn't know
idea.
that, hey.
Well, I was just over there. I was just
Forgot about
over there.
that. Yeah,
You're
they're
right,
doing
you
the
can't come
that
in on
retirement home
Columbus
or something?
anymore.
So the only way you can go in now is
Off Perkins.
So if you go in Perkins, you gotta go all the way through their parking lot and turn around and come back, and
Got
that's
it.
gonna be a problem.
Well, that's not gonna work, because majority of traffic
Yeah,
is
but
coming off of
that's the
Columbus.
good-
Well, it was an idea. I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure over the next,
2
few
weeks.
days, I'm sure over the next, Thursday? It's gonna be 2 weeks till they perfect it, but I'm sure over time, they'll be able to figure out how to,
What's the best
Oh, yeah.
direction?
working with the city and working with our staff, I'm sure they'll be able to figure that out.
Or
But
maybe
no,
if
that
there's a
really was.
communication even just to the community, like maybe we could talk to the city of Bedford Heights, and just maybe they can put something out to their residents as well to have a little bit of patience
Like, be
with,
patient with us the first 2
if
weeks.
that hasn't already been done.
Yeah.
So that people are aware that, some stuff is going on with the school, now that the kids are back in school. So, on my other point though, I wanted to also re-mention again, I did mention at the last meeting, but our next community meeting, is next Saturday, the 30th, in Walton Hills, from 10 to 11. So I just wanted to put that announcement back out again, since we won't meet before, that community meeting takes place.
Yes, and last one from me, it's football season.
Yes.
We have our Bearcats starting tomorrow. They will be here at home. So please definitely come and support our Bearcats. Watch them on the field and have fun. Next week they're in Twinsburg. And then don't ask me the rest of the schedule. I go 2 weeks at a time. But the schedule has definitely been put on our social media pages. It's also on the school website, so definitely look out for that.
It's also alumni night. It's an all-class reunion night tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
So if you are alumni, come on out to the game because it is all-class reunion time.
Yes, so, all right. All hearts and minds clear? See. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
I'm like, nobody wants to leave. It's been motioned by Mrs. Boynton and second by Mrs. Macklin that we adjourn. Roll call?
Ms. Boynton?
Yes.
Ms. Macklin?
Yes.
Ms. Turner Birch?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes. Have a great evening, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Go Bearcats!
Go Bearcats. Thank you.